Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be walking you through on creating a Python environment clone within your ESRI ArcGIS Pro system. As a GIS user, you all must be familiar with this screen. And when you open your Arc Pro, go to your project, go to Package Manager. The default should be on ArcGIS Pro Pi 3, which is the current active environment. Now, the caveat is we cannot update packages on ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 because we need administrative rights. And in order to keep our default system settings safe, and we hope that nothing goes wrong and broke, it's always a good practice to create a clone environment and work with that within Python. Now, there are multiple ways to do it. You can do it from within the package manager, which is probably the easiest way to do it. But again, sometimes some people experience problems and receive errors doing it, but we are going to see that, how it works. So right next to your active environment, right up here, you have this environment manager settings button. When you click on it, it tells you this is your default environment, which is selected. Now, in my case, I already have a clone, but if I want to create another clone, all I need to do is click on Clone ArcGIS Pro Pi 3. So when you do that, your source is coming off of your original file, which is your ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 environment, and your destination is going to be that's the one below it. Now, in my case, I cannot call it clone because I already have one. So what I'm going to do is call this Pi 3 clone 1. And then all you do is hit OK, and it's going to start running. Now, this is probably the easiest way to do it if you're not familiar with Python command prompt and things like that. The other way to do it is you have your Python command prompt on the computer. And if you don't know how to find that, all you need to do is just type in Python command prompt, and it's going to show up. Or you can go to your folders, go to ArcGIS, and open Python command prompt. So when I open Python command prompt, it tells me the similar thing. ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 is my current active environment, and I want to create a clone environment. So what I'm going to do is I have a command which can tell me that what are the active environment or existing environments on this computer. So first I'm going to check my list of environment. And for that, I have conda environment list. If you type in conda environment list, it's going to show you a list of environment that are present on your computer. So in my case, I have a bunch of them, like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiple of them. So what we're going to do is, for the sake of this exercise, we are going to go and create a clone 1 environment. So what I'm going to do is, the command to do that is, as you can see, conda create clone ArcGIS Pro Pi 3. So we are saying that conda create is the command, that clone ArcGIS Pro Pi 3, which is this environment, and name the new environment as ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 clone 1. Once you do that, you can click enter, and it's going to run the command. So I'm going to highlight again. You have conda create clone. You're saying conda create an environment, clone the current environment, which is ArcGIS Pro Pi 3, name it ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 underscore clone 1. So once you do that, just hit enter. And once you do that, it's going to start creating your environment. So it has a source and a destination where the clone environment is going. Um, it's exporting 251 packages and 493 files from the original ArcGIS ProPy 3 Python environment of ESRI. Now, this might take a minute or two to run and complete the execution. But this is probably the easiest way that I find doing it. And I have never encountered any error or sort of issues running it. Although I would say that when I run it off of the Python package manager within Arc Pro system, there has been times where creating the clone environment has failed upon me. So just something to keep in mind. Now, even if you're new to coding, this is not something really hard to understand. And as I was mentioning, while this is executing the transaction, we can still one more time reiterate or re-emphasize this command that it's saying your conda is your, basically the environment you're taking, conda to telling conda to create a clone of ArcGIS ProPy 3 and name it ArcGIS ProPy 3 clone 1. So even if you're a beginner in Python, this is a pretty easy way to do it. Now, as I said, it might take a minute or two to complete this, depending on the speed of your computer, the specs you have, the amount of RAM and the speed and the graphics card you have. It might vary a little bit. Might be faster if you have great specs. If you don't have that good of specs, then it might be a bit slower. But we're gonna wait and let it run because I want to show you guys the full thing. Now, as you can see, it was done less than a minute and a half. Now, it's saying us here to activate this environment, use activate ArcGIS ProPy 3 clone 1 command. What does this mean? So as you can see, after it got done running and creating the new Python environment, it's still on the old one, which is ArcGIS ProPy 3. So that means you're still working with the older one. And we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we can just say activate ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 clone 1 and hit enter. And as soon as you do that, you can see it's changed to ArcGIS Pro Pi 3 clone 1. So that's pretty simple. Now, if we go back to our project, and we can see here, we have clone 1 created. And what we're going to do is we're going to activate this environment, and it's going to activate it. And now we can see the installed packages, and there are a bunch of them here, which comes default. You can also check if some packages needs updates or not, and if you want to add some packages to it. So for example, we can look for, let's say, pandas. Is that installed or not? So currently it's already installed, it just needs an update. Let's look for Fiona. So Fiona is currently not installed. And what you can do is you can go and say on your browser, conda install Fiona, and it's going to show you this link from anaconda.org, and you can use this command conda install conda forge Fiona. So what we can do is we can come back to the Python command prompt, paste that command. We're just going to say conda install conda forge Fiona. Going to hit enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to install that package for us. It might ask us to execute one of the command in a form of yes or no. And at that point, you got to say yes in order to install the package successfully. Now, you can also install it using the package manager. But again, I'm going to warn you guys that sometimes, on occasions, I have encountered errors installing it from the package manager. So it's always better to use the Python command prompt. It's the most assured way of kind of installing the packages or updating or creating a new environment and stuff like that. So we're gonna let that run and see, because I want to show you guys the entire process, and when the prompts come, we're gonna say yes in order to install it. Now, you just need to know the name of the package, and then you can, search it. So as you can see, it's telling me that the following packages will be downloaded, new packages will be installed, and then we're gonna say yes. Just hit enter, and it's gonna install that particular package. So this is one simple way of installing packages or installing or creating a new Python environment by using Python command prompt or package manager, whichever one's easy for you. There are other ways to do this as well, but this is probably the simplest way if you're working with ESRI's ecosystem. And it's not complicated, it's pretty simple, and you can accomplish it pretty easily. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me or drop comments. Thank you.